Okay, now we're at the part that you signed up for, how to issue a citation. You're going to have a lot of information coming at you. Don't be nervous. When you come to pick up your materials, you'll get handouts that will have this information for you to follow. So don't feel you have to absorb it and remember it all, but just focus in on the highlights because there is an assessment at the end and want to make sure that you did grab the basics of how to issue a citation. Okay, volunteers are empowered to issue citations for the following violations from the Texas Transportation Code: to park a vehicle in an accessible parking space without displaying the appropriate plate or placard, to park a vehicle with an accessible placard or plate that is expired, altered, or unable to read, to park a vehicle in a way that it blocks access to an accessible parking space, an access aisle, or any architectural improvement that provides access for people with disabilities such as a ramp or a curb cut, to produce or use a counterfeit accessible parking placard or plate. So you could also issue citations if someone is parking their car and it's blocking the hatch mark area or the path to the store, or they're parked in the access aisle and they're blocking the ramp to the sidewalk. You will be empowered to issue citations for all these types of violations. Let's look at the steps for issuing a citation. Your first step in issuing a citation is to check the license plate for the international symbol of access. Okay, if it doesn't have the international symbol of access, let's go to the next step. Is there a vertical sign posted in front of the parking space? If there is, we're good to go to the next step. You walk in front of the car and see if there is a valid placard displayed. If there is not a valid placard displayed, then this car is in violation and you can begin the process to issue a parking citation. If you do not see a placard, sometimes double check. Did it fall on the dashboard? Is it laying on the front seat? If you can see the expiration date, then don't issue a citation. If the placard is valid, of course, then don't issue a citation. Do the punched and written expiration dates match? If not, if they don't match, then you issue a citation. Has the placard expired? Yes, issue a citation. Has the placard been altered? Yes, issue the citation. Is the placard facing the wrong direction, or is it covered up? Sometimes people cover up an expired placard intentionally. Then yes, you issue a citation. So remember, check the dashboard in the front seat to make sure it didn't fall off the rearview mirror when they close the door. Check the expiration date. Make sure the punch date and the written dates match. Is the placard expired, altered, or covered up? Proceed with issuing the citation. We have access aisle warning cards available for you. If you see a car with a valid placard and they're parked in the access aisle, please place a warning card on the windshield for a warning. Because if they have a valid placard, they can go and have the citation dismissed. And also sometimes people make mistakes. They're not aware they cannot park in the access aisle. Because remember, the law just went into effect that requires properties to say that this is a no parking zone. So we really want to target our efforts on vehicles that do not have the right to park at ADA spaces. But if you see a repeat offender, please issue them a parking citation. So, and you can contact our office if you need more warning cards. But remember, we kind of want to focus on people who do not have the right and not people who make a mistake. And you will often see motorcycles parked in the access aisle. Motorcycles cannot park in the access aisle. You can issue a citation to a motorcycle because it has a license plate. You could place it on the seat if there's no way to secure it to the windshield. And remember, if you see a car with a DV plate, always make sure that it has the international symbol or access or the wheelchair emblem, or walk around and see if it has a valid placard. Because remember, even if the plate says disabled, they must have either the international symbol of access or a valid placard to park in a marked disabled parking space. Okay, here's some tips on what not to do. Reminders on what is required to issue a good parking citation, because that's our goal. We want these citations to be up. Remember, they can't really contest a citation unless they produce a valid placard. So if we do all our good work up front, these citations will not be dismissed. Remember, the parking space must have a sign in front of the parking space. You see this picture, the parking space has an emblem on the ground and a ramp next to it. So it's kind of clear it's a disabled parking space. But without the sign, the citation will not be upheld. You're only authorized to issue citations within the Houston city limits. If you have a question whether address is in the Houston city limits, email me and I can look it up on a map and verify. Remember, do not take citations back once you have completed them. Provide them with the instructions on the back of the citation on how to dispute or contest the citation. Do not ask anyone for their ID to prove that they have a right to use their placard, the placard that they're using. Do not block vehicles with your car or with your body. Do not issue citations in gated areas without access or granted permission. And another thing you want to do, if you see a car in violation, we do not want you to illegally park in the disabled parking space next to that parking space to issue a violation. In other words, we don't want you to park in violation to issue a violation, because somebody probably take a picture of that and then they're going to question what we're doing. Okay, let's talk about the pictures that you take when you issue your citations. The first picture we need will be a clear picture of the rear license plate number, also showing this sign posted in front of the vehicle. Then you go around to the front of the car and you take a picture of the front windshield showing no placard, or you take a picture showing the expired placard, or you take a picture showing the altered placard. And the last picture is a picture of the citation placed on the windshield. Doing this lets the hearing officer know that the citizen received notification of this parking violation. People will often go to have a hearing and say they didn't know anything about it. But because we have a picture of the citation on the windshield proving that they received notification of a violation, that argument will not stand, and they cannot pretend they did not know anything about it. You will also remember, don't get anxious. I know you may be feverishly writing right now. We'll give you a card when you come to pick up your materials telling you exactly what pictures to take. So we want the rear license plate and the sign in one picture. We want the front windshield showing that there's either no placard or showing that the placard is expired or altered, and a picture of the citation placed on the windshield. And at the end of the day, we want you to make sure that you email your photos the same day. All citizens can have online hearings, so it's very important to get your pictures submitted the same day that you issue the citation. We will enter them in the system, and when they go have a hearing, all the evidence will be there for the hearing officer to review. Good evidence is the key. Citations cannot be dismissed as a courtesy. The state attorney general slapped the city of Houston's hand because they were issuing citations as a courtesy or because due to someone's personal hardship. And the state attorney general said the only way these citations can be dismissed if they provide you a valid parking placard. So we have to abide by that. So we want to make sure that all the evidence is in the system when they come to have their hearing. So again, when it's time to send in your information, you're going to take a picture of the complete parking citation, showing the parking citation at the top of the form and at the bottom of the form. You're going to email the photo of the citation and the violation photos to volunteer.parking@houstontx.gov. For your subject, you will use the citation number. We will enter the citation into the system, and if someone comes to contest the citation, the hearing officer will have all your evidence to uphold the citation. One thing to remember about we need to do with temporary plates, we have to actually write the VIN on the citation. So make sure you get a good picture of the VIN. If it's on the license plate, as in this picture, you can use that. And then when you're in the car, you can write that VIN number on the citation, because it's a long number to sit and write while you're standing out issuing a citation. So you don't want someone to walk up on you. But get a real good picture of the VIN, or you can go around to the front of the windshield and get the picture of the VIN that's right below the registration sticker. But we need that good picture so we can link this car when they get their permanent plates. Because often this temporary license plate number doesn't really connect to anything. So that's why we need to get a good picture of the VIN or the vehicle identification number. Okay, let's look at some examples of some good pictures that were provided by volunteers. As you can see in this picture, they got a picture of the license plate. It's a clear picture of the license plate. Of course, you can't see this because we blacked it out, because license plates are personal information and we don't want to share that information in the public. And you can see the sign posted in front of the vehicle. Here's another good picture, a very clear picture of the license plate. It can be easy. The license plate number can be easily read, and you can see the picture of the sign posted in front. This truck gives you the example of why the sign should be posted at least 6 feet high, because you can barely see the top of the sign over the truck, but you can still see the top of the sign because the sign is at the proper length. The proper height. Okay, let's talk about writing your citation. You know, most of us, if you're like me, you hardly ever write information anymore. Well, this is the one time you have to write, and this is the one time we have to go back to our elementary school days when they taught us penmanship, because penmanship matters when you're writing a citation. We use our handwriting very little these days, but let's be very careful when you're issuing a citation, and a citation that cannot be read or that's inaccurate will be dismissed. So print all information and make sure you press hard, because it has to go through the white copy to the pink copy that you leave on the car. You have to use an exact address. You can't use addresses such as HEB at Kirkwood, the Galleria Mall, Memorial Center Mall. You have to use an exact address. You can find the exact, do a Google search and the exact address will come up for you. And make sure your license plate number is correct. There's no room for error. One letter or one number off will not find the right registered vehicle owner, and the citation will be thrown out. So be very, very careful when you write down the license plate number. Here's some letters that are commonly confused when they're written. Okay, one thing to know is that Texas does not use the letter O in license plates. They use the number 0. So if you want to make it clear, you can put that line through the circle to make it clear that that's a 0. Make sure your D's don't look like O's and your O's look like D's. Make sure there's a distinction between the letter S and the number 5. Write neatly so that your P's and D's do not look alike. The numbers have to be clear also. 7 and 9, write that number hard and make that line straight across the top of that 7 so we know it's not a number 9. Don't let your 2 look like a letter Z. And of course, complete that B so it does not look like the number 13. Because as I said earlier, one digit off will lead to the wrong vehicle owner and which could lead to the citation being dismissed. Okay, when we're completing a citation, re-emphasizing, carefully write the citation number and then write the 2-letter state abbreviation. And make sure if it's not a Texas plate, don't forget to change it, because we'll get in the habit of just writing Texas because we're so used to everything being Texas. When you write the date, make sure you put the month first, the day, and the year. I know overseas, some people put the day first and then the month. But for our purposes and for this legal document, it must be month, day, and year. Use the regular time format, circle AM and PM. Do not use military time. Only put your first initial and your last name, or you can put your first name and your last initial, but don't write your complete name. Write your volunteer number very clearly. That's how we will link the citation to you when we enter it in the system. Again, write the exact address, add the vehicle make, and then you will check off that there was a vertical sign posted, because that's one of the first things you looked at before you begin writing the citation. And then there'll be the reasons listed why you were issued a citation, and you check off the reason. The reasons include no visible placard or plate, expired placard, altered placard, unable to read placard, parked in the access aisle. And you place the pink copy and envelope on the windshield, and you will mail in the white copy for us. A lot of people get this confused, but remember to always place pink on the windshield. So use those two P's to help you remember. Place pink on the windshield. And just a reminder, if it's temporary plate, get a picture of that VIN. If it's not on the plate, go around to the front under the registration sticker and get a picture of that VIN number and include that VIN. Include that picture with your pictures, and you can also write that VIN on the citation. You don't have to write the VIN on it for every vehicle, only for vehicles that have temporary license plates. And when it's time to submit your citations, remember, at the end of the day, please mail in your citation and your citation photos. The clock starts on the 30 days to dispute it, the day the citation is written. And a citizen only has 30 days. So if someone else is driving their car and they don't tell them about the citation, they're not going to know about it until they get it in the mail. And they are the person who's considered financially responsible for the citation. The owner of the vehicle is financially responsible for the citation, not the driver. So that's why it's important for us to give them as much time as possible if they need to dispute it. Remember to send your emails daily and mail your hard copies once a week. We will give you prepaid envelopes that you can use to mail your hard copies in once a week. We understand mistakes happen, but if you make a mistake, please do not write mistake or void on a citation. The hearing officer will slap your hand and our hands. Because when you write mistake or void, it's basically saying that you're dismissing the citation and you're making a legal decision, and we do not have the authority to do that. Only a hearing officer can dismiss a parking citation. So remember, if you make a mistake, don't write a mistake or void. Contact the coordinator, myself or Lisa, and ask for a found not liable form that you'll have to complete. And we'll send the form along with the attached citation, all the copies of the citation, to the hearing officer for the official dismissal. So this is just a protocol we have to follow. So remember, mistakes happen and that's okay, but never write mistake or void on a citation. And another issue that may come out is that you've completed a citation and you're placing it on the windshield, and someone comes out, wait, I have my placard, I just forgot to hang it. Don't take citations, do not take citations back. If you take a citation back, again, you are technically dismissing the citation and we do not have that authority. So if they show you a valid placard after you have completed a citation, show them the instructions on the back on how to dispute the citations. And the citation will probably be dismissed. We can't guarantee them that, but more than likely it will probably be dismissed. So if a citizen shows you a valid placard, show them the instructions on the back on how to dispute the citation. And once again, we do not have the authority to dismiss parking citations. And also, when you're placing a citation on the windshield, you've done all your pictures and you're at the end, someone may be walking out and you may encounter them when it's ready to place that citation on the windshield. As you see them, observe them. What is their attitude? Do they seem calm or do they seem very agitated and angry? If they appear calm and friendly, then proceed to put the citation on the windshield. If they seem aggressive, upset, if they're hurling certain words at you, please walk away and make a note on the citation that the citizen did not want the citation on their windshield. This only applies if you've already taken all your pictures and you've actually completed the citation. It's not acceptable to take pictures from the distance after the fact. We have to make a genuine attempt to place a citation on the windshield. If someone instructs you not to touch their vehicle, tell them you are required by ordinance to place the citation on the windshield. You cannot hand it to them directly. If they say don't touch their car, then make that comment on the citation. So remember, if their attitude seems pleasant or friendly, continue to place a citation on the windshield. If they seem angry and agitated, calmly walk away and make a comment, citizen was aggressive. And if someone tells you do not touch their car, do not touch their car, but do not directly hand someone a citation. Here's an example of a very good picture. If you have opportunity to take this picture, this could be the one windshield picture that you have. It shows that the placard is not visible because they've turned it upside down so you cannot read the expiration date. You can see the citation has been placed on the windshield under the blade, and then you can also see the registration number, which confirms your picture of the license plate number that was taken at the rear of the vehicle. So if you can get this one picture in one shot, this is an excellent picture. Now you see this car here, pretty fancy car, maybe a collector or someone who's refurbishing antique vehicles. But no matter who it is, you can only give one citation per vehicle per day. So even though they are illegally parked in 2 disabled parking spaces, they can only receive one citation per day that will only be upheld. They deserve 2, but only issue 1. And no matter what's parked in that disabled parking space, if it has a license plate, issue a citation. These spider vehicles have license plates on the back, and you can issue them a citation if they are illegally parked in a disabled parking space. Whew, we made it. Now you know how to write a citation, but as I said at the beginning, you don't have to worry about absorbing all this at once. You will get an instruction card to take with you when you come to pick up your materials. One more section to go and we're at the end.